I guarantee to you that not everyone, but a huge majority of us watching this video right now and you listening to my voice has at least one family member who passed away before they could truly enjoy them to the fullest, before they could get the chance to fully know them as a person. I'm talking about those kinds of relatives that you've probably missed by a tiny margin, probably like a couple of years before you were born, they died, or possibly you already knew them, but they died at a very young age of yours. And now you wonder, how would our conversations be if me, as this older, more wiser, more mature person, would ask them? Because, when we are children, we don't really care about deep life questions, like, for example, if you had financial, location, and time freedom, what would you be doing? If money, fame, woman, relationships, and health weren't a factor, what would your definition of success be? We don't wonder about those kinds of questions. No, we just like to play around with our toys. And so when we see these elderly people or these people older than us, we of course naturally respect them because they are older and more wiser than us. But we don't quite get along with them just yet. Like, yeah, sure, they sometimes play with us when we are younger with our toys. They help us, for example, build the Lego car that we got for Christmas, for example. But since 99% of us watching this video don't have old souls and were never interested in those kinds of deep life questions that actually gave meaning to our lives from such an early age, we never had the chance to actually ask them and see their point of view. And I come from a family where I had a lot of these kinds of family members who sadly passed away before I was born or slightly after I was born. I would hear all these kinds of stories from my other family members who knew them, who basically told me about how they were nice in the past, how they used to work on themselves, how they had all of these different life experiences, what professions they used to work, the skills that they like to master in their free time. And it didn't bother me as much until I was like 13 years old and we were in the COVID lockdown. Like we were inside during winter for like 6 months. And during this time, I had a lot of time to think and ask questions about these past relatives of mine. And one of my hobbies that I like to do in my free time is to look at what if history scenarios. Like, for example, if Germany won World War One, yeah. And what I used to do back then during COVID was think about what if I was born just 10 years earlier? Would I be able to form these high quality relationships with them? How much life experiences could I get from them? And I basically just visualized all the different conversations that we could have had. It was basically my way of coping with the losses that I had in my life, my way of getting over the fact that I would never see them for the rest of my life. I spent hours every single day basically just think about all the different conversations and about all the different life experiences that I was creating inside of my head, just living them through over and over and over again. And I know it sounds a little bit schizophrenic, but you have to understand these are my family members. There are people whom I hold dearest to my heart. And believe it or not, this continued for the next 2.5 years until summer of 2023. Like, yeah, sure, after COVID ended, I stopped thinking about it that much. I probably started thinking about it like 1/3 of the time, because of course, I now had other stuff to worry about, like, for example, talking to my male classmates, thinking about the topics that I would talk to them about, and other stuff like that. I had to put more of my energy that I was putting in the relationships desire to them and not to my past relatives. But as summer of 2023 started, and I got onto self improvement, I started to find self improvement videos on how to overcome loss and how to finally get over these past dead relatives of mine and finally grow stronger and overcome the fear that I would never see them again for the rest of my life. Now, I am a believer, and yes, I believe in heaven and hell and stuff like this. So, of course, I have the confidence that I will see them in heaven once in the future. But whilst you're down here, you shouldn't obsess about the fact that you will never see them again. Once you're down here, think about it. You're here for like 100 years. That's nothing. And then you spend the rest of your eternity just living with them up there in heaven. So you have plenty of amount of time to spend with them. So whilst you're down here, why don't you become the best version of yourself so that when you actually go up there, you have something to talk about so that your life down here is so good that when you get up there, you don't even remember what you were doing down here. That you basically remember it as that one memory. Like, for example, tell me, what did you had for breakfast on March 23rd, 2010? That's right. You have no idea. And if you become the best version of yourself right now, like if you get the highest quality woman that you have the potential to get, if you're just willing, if you actually do build the successful business that brings you financial, location, and time freedom, and if you discipline yourself enough to level up your mental health and your physical health over a long period of time, like for example, 5 years, then you'll have something that you can be proud of. Then your existence down here will be fulfilled, and people up there and down here will respect you. But even if you aren't a believer, then why don't you still just become the best version of yourself? Would you rather spend the rest of your existence down here as this weak, anxious, depressed, with no sexual pleasure, this version of yourself? Or would you rather slowly build up the discipline and work on yourself for years? And believe me, in just 5 years, it is possible to completely turn your life around. In just 5 years, it is completely possible to get the financial location and time freedom to level up your mental health, your physical health, to get that wife. It is absolutely possible. And it will make the rest of your time down here so much easier. And yes, I know that the path is very difficult. It is full of trials and tribulations, of mistakes that will haunt you for weeks on end. But that's what self improvement is all about. We don't live a life full of monotony anymore, like the 99% of people. We live a life of breaking downs. Our success, it doesn't look like a linear graph, like a perfect steady up graph that is slowly going upwards. No, progress on self improvement works like this. You see no progress for like weeks on end, and then after like 4 weeks of busting your ass off, eventually you break a dam, and then your success will look like a J curve. And then after like few days, the rewards will stop coming, and then you will be in that 4 week long period once again. But trust me, once you experience the delayed gratification from just one of these J curves, you will never quit again because your discipline will be changed into motivation once you get this first hit of actual good dopamine. At first, I used my past relatives as a source of motivation to make them proud once I get up there. I wanted to make them proud that, look, Grandma, I am helping us down here become financially, locationally, and timely free so that your son doesn't have to work as hard anymore. However, as I became more advanced in my self improvement journey, and when I was reading this book on Stoicism, I was reading this chapter about loss, and how to get over it. And the author said something really interesting. He said that nothing in this life is ours. It is just given to us for the time being. And that just opened up my eyes when it came to regret so fucking much. Because now I realized that my family members, they were destined to die this way. Now, I know that we may have some people watching this video who had one of their family members sadly killed, like in an instant. I'm talking like heart attacks, probably even a, yeah, victim, and other brutal ways of leaving this world. I know that you may be now thinking that, oh, so my sister deserved to get and died brutally? Is that what you're saying, TR? Look, calm down. I know that it may sound harsh at first, and myself personally, I am a non believer of accidents. I think that our entire lives were predetermined once we were born. So, whenever something happens in my life, whether a family member dies, I have to get rid of one materialistic thing and buy a better one, for example. And whenever something unpleasant life throws at me, whether it is a test to test my masculinity, I just think to myself, yeah, life has its plans for me. And so, you cannot change this plan. However, you can change your attitude towards that plan. Think about it. You may be destined to win the lottery in like 5 years. However, if you don't become financially literate and you actually search up how to invest, like for example, how to trade and how to buy real estate, basically how to turn the money that you already have into more money slowly over time, then let's say that you'll win like $50 million. Nice. However, you're still that weak, jackass version of yourself who doesn't have the dream wife, who doesn't have the powerful business, who doesn't have the good mental and physical health, just because he didn't believe himself when he was watching that TR guy. I think that was his name, 5 years ago, who was motivating him to become the best version of himself. He has no idea about how to invest in the first place. And yet, you expect him to handle these types of life tests? You expect him to suddenly maintain all of that money? Of course, that's not possible. However, if you slowly but surely become the best version of yourself and you master the art of investing, then of course you'll be prepared for the money when it comes and you will be able to sustain it. And that's what I mean by changing your approach to life. Or, for example, let's use a rather unpleasant example right now, okay? I know that negative visualizations are really bad for our mental health in the short term, but trust me, what I'm about to say now will really benefit you in the long term. So, listen up. And I'm not saying that this will be true, but just imagine it for a second with me, okay? Let's say that 10 years down the line, after you've already achieved the 10 out of 10 body that you've been desiring all this time, you went to go skiing, but you become invalid, so you cannot walk for the rest of your life. Like, you were skiing down this huge mountain, but suddenly you saw that there was snow, but it was actually the snow that was like 20 meters below you, and so you fell down, and you cannot walk for the rest of your life. I'm sorry. It is your approach that will change the rest of your life and the fate if you can walk or not. Or it doesn't have to be this skiing example. Let's say that you get this illness, like you just become invalid all of a sudden. You can either cry and become a little bitch about it, and you can forever indulge in sorrow that you will never walk again, like how when life was really tough and you never got onto self improvement. Or you can act like the best version of yourself and you can read books and make so much research and get so much knowledge about people who overcame what happened to you. And who knows, maybe there will still be a way of how you can walk once again. And this is how you can overcome regret and loss. That you missed something really important in your past that you would like to experience once again, or experience in the first place. It is to think to yourself, maybe I wasn't destined to meet them just yet, or maybe I wasn't destined to form these deeper connections with them. Accept the belief that there are no accidents, that everything in your life is already predetermined by some kind of a plan that the universe has for you. And now change your attitude. Would you like to approach that plan as the current loser version of yourself? Or would you like to become the best version of itself, who is leveling up its stoicism skill every single goddamn day? That's right. And if you want to plan on how you can succeed in becoming the best version of yourself, just know that there is something huge coming. If you want to join a community full of like minded men who share the same values as you, the same likes and dislikes, the same goals, who are working tirelessly on themselves every single day, who will be in a state of healthy competition with you, and who will give you advice like your true blood bonded brothers, then you can join our Discord clan in the description. I know that if you're watching videos like these and willing to take action, then I know that you have way more potential than you think you have. Your ancestors will definitely be proud of you because you're actually living like them and you're on the path to success. So please harness your potential and make us your friend group so you can grow with us and join us on the path to greatness. We'll be here for you no matter what. I know that you'll find your place in there. But besides that, you can like the video, you can subscribe if you like, join the email list in the description, and get yourself a free ebook about mindfulness. Comment on which part of the video you liked the most and which part of the video you will implement into your daily life. Don't forget to join the clan, you're still invited, and keep your eyes peeled. And with that being said, thank you very much for watching this video, and remember, no one is better at being you